WoSo Worldwide, your women's football news show. As always, I'm your host Pitbull, here to remind you that the bigger they are, the harder they fall. We are kicking off today's broadcast, as we like to over here, in North America with the Challenge Cup, where there are some decidedly ungroovy vibes about, with everyone's favourite players getting injured. And I know what you're thinking right now, my favourite player isn't injured, and to that I say, wait. Just wait. The other news out of NWSL is... Really? The other news out of NWSL is that referees... Seriously? Really? The other news out of NWSL is that referees are now booking players who commit fouls. Damn. This is the biggest game changer we've seen in the league in recent years. So that's players now getting booked in NWSL. The times they are changing. South of the border, things are hotting up in Mexico, with Monterrey having claimed the first playoff spot in the other part of the league that they're in now, not the part that they already won. But Tigres, Guadalajara and America are hot on their heels. Back over in Europe, or going to Europe for the first time today, it's been a busy week with the Champions League quarter-final second legs taking place, where Barcelona notably had 91,553 fans at the Camp Nou for that second leg against Real Madrid, which was quite a lot happened that day. And as someone who's there, let me just say that 91,553 fans are so bloody loud. Of course, this is a new world record attendance for a women's football match, but only in FIFA recognised matches, with a larger attendance record being set in the 70s in Mexico during one of the Mundialitos. Reportedly over 110,000 back then, so that's, peanuts in Barcelona this week. Having won their quarterfinal, Barcelona will go on to play Wolfsburg in the semi-finals after the former German champions quite convincingly beat Arsenal at the Volkswagen Arena. Whilst in France, Lyon overcame a 2-1 deficit against Juventus, eventually winning that match 4-3 on aggregate, or to put in terms that the American listeners will understand, Kat Macario and Lindsay Horan beat Juventus. And this also means that Lyon will go on to play PSG in the semi-finals, PSG having beaten Bayern Munich. It's a little controversial circumstances, with Munich being incredibly threadbare, with so very many members of their squad out with COVID. But that match was actually decided in extra time by Ramona Bachmann. And this also means that Lyon and PSG will play each other 3 times in the space of just over a month, so expect fireworks in France. Boom. Oh, sorry. Le boom. Over in AFC, the A-League women finally wrapped up when Melbourne Victory beat Sydney FC in the inaugural A-League Women Grand Final. This, however, was a rerun of last season's Grand Final. The last season that the competition was still the W League, or the Dub, and of course the result was the same, with Melbourne Victory besting Sydney. And I am reliably informed that Sydney fans are still drinking that pain away. Sorry. Elsewhere in AFC, over in Asia proper, the WK League kicked off this season, with current champions, the Hyundai Red Angels, being Suwon. I would confidently say that they're going to retain their title, because they always do. A short hop over a nearby body of water, and the WE League is hotting up, or staying overly tepid, overly warm, as INAC Kobe continue to lead the way, although they will be playing second-placed Tokyo Verdy tomorrow morning, which by the time you're watching this is probably 4 months ago. But, yes, and earlier on today, Jeff United beat Mainavi Sendai, effectively ruining both of their title chances. But, yes, it's, I say this knowing that no one cares, but it's a good league. People should watch it. It's a good league. The big international news ahead of the April window is that Ada Hegerberg is back in the Norway squad for the first time in about 4.5 years. This, of course, has led many people to think that Norway have a much better chance of doing about anything at the Euros this summer. And to the Norwegian listeners out there, let me just say and be somewhat candid with you. Å bringe Ada tilbake endrer ikke det eksisterende strukturer eller problemer I laget. Yeah, like, seriously. And yes, finishing this broadcast, this edition, this episode of WoSo Worldwide, we are going back to NWSL, as today is the 2nd of April. Yesterday, of course, was April Fool's Day, and the Gotham FC... What are you doing? The Gotham FC social media admin had tongues wagging and had what was this about? Had fans all over America... Sorry about that. Nothing of note happened. Nothing of note happened. So thank you for tuning in to WoSo Worldwide again. As always, I have been your host Pitbull, here to say goodbye, or as I like to say, Timber!